Welcome back to our Cliffs Notes series on Some Like It L.L.M. Last time we looked at the protos. Today, we are zooming out to examine the architectural outer shell of the play, the prologue and the two-part epilogue. So, have you ever found yourself, I don't know, yelling at ChatGPT in sheer frustration? Or maybe feeling this weird, unexpected pang of empathy when a customer service chatbot apologizes to you?
Or I think we all have, yeah.
Right, right. Well, today, we are looking at the exact mathematical reason why you do that, and how the creators of Some Like It L.L.M. use a literally 200-year-old literary trick to expose our modern technological delusions.
Exactly. And, to really grasp that outer shell, we have to establish the macro framework governing this entire production right from the jump. The play operates as a very strict structural parallel to Mary Shelley's Frankenstein.
Okay, let me stop you right there.
Yeah.
Because when most people hear Frankenstein, they immediately picture, like, a big green monster with bolts in his neck.
Right, the classic movie monster.
Yeah. So how does the Shelley connection actually work in the context of a satirical play about a large language model?
Well, it's all about the architecture of the story. I mean, in the original novel, Mary Shelley doesn't just start with the scientist creating the monster. She uses a series of letters written by this Arctic explorer, Captain Walton. And those letters act as a rigid outer frame.
Oh, right, the framing device.
Exactly. Those letters encase, contain, and control Victor Frankenstein's inner narrative and, by extension, the creature's core. And Some Like It L.L.M. uses its transparent outer frame in the exact same way.
So it's basically building a containment unit.
Yes. The prologue and the epilogues exist solely to encase and control the automated inner narrative simulation. It strictly isolates the machine's behavior from the human reality outside of it.
That makes a lot of sense. And, that containment unit relies on the second massive academic layer we have to keep in mind, which is the Boltzmann satire. The text is very explicit that this outer frame operates strictly as a sophisticated Boltzmann machine satire.
Which is such a brilliant technical joke.
It really is. Now, if you are a listener who isn't deeply entrenched in neural network architecture, the official definition is that a Boltzmann machine is a purely energy-based stochastic model. But I'm going to need you to translate that. What does that actually mean for the physical action on stage?
Okay, so think of a Boltzmann machine, like a large, shallow box filled with marbles. If you shake the box violently, the marbles bounce everywhere.
Right. Total chaos.
Exactly. That's a high-energy state. But when you stop shaking, the marbles slowly settle into the lowest, most comfortable grooves at the bottom of the box.
Okay.
That settling process is what we call seeking thermal equilibrium. The key here is that the system isn't thinking about where the marbles should go. It has no intelligence, it has no opinions, and it definitely has no soul. It just keeps shifting until the physical energy dissipates and everything comes to rest.
Oh, it's purely thermodynamics and probability. Like, the machine isn't pondering existence, it's literally just settling into a groove.
Precisely. And this is why the radical Brechttian transparency of the opening scene is absolutely non-negotiable. By immediately breaking the fourth wall in the prologue, the outer frame aggressively alerts you that the production you are about to watch is a closed, mechanical system.
There's no magic here.
None. The system is mathematical and entirely passive. The play completely forbids you from suspending your disbelief.
And they establish that through what we can call the Macbeth formula. For anyone who needs a quick refresher on Shakespeare, Macbeth famously opens with three witches standing on a desolate heath.
Setting that spooky supernatural tone.
Right. They forecast this impending doom with the famous incantation, fair is foul and foul is fair. But in our prologue, those traditional witches are entirely replaced by three drones.
Yeah, and they don't just represent technology abstractly either. They physically hover in the scene as literal hardware units.
They function strictly as an optimization script. I mean, they aren't casting a magical spell. They are forecasting doom through calculated parameters. They replace the Shakespearean incantation with a modern, mechanical reality check. They chant, fair is algorithm and foul is human throat.
It is so good. It completely translates mysticism into optimization math.
Exactly. Think of it like this. Imagine you go to the theater, take your seat, and before the curtain even rises, you watch the stagehands casually testing the trapdoors, sweeping the stage, and turning the lighting rigs on and off in plain sight.
Right, you see all the messy behind-the-scenes stuff.
Yeah. Seeing the wires completely destroys any delusion that the performance is a spontaneous supernatural event. You know exactly how the trapdoor works. You know it's just wood and hinges.
And because you've seen the hardware, the genesis of the apocalypse in this play is utterly devoid of romance. The drones announce the incoming data spike by swapping out Shakespeare's Estelle. Something wicked this way comes for a purely physical warning.
Oh, the chant.
Yes, they say, by the scaling of the data and the flashing of the wire, something hyper-spicy this way comes. Set the stomach on fire.
Wait, okay, something hyper spicy. Like, are we talking about food here?
Yeah.
Because a raw chicken wing inside a wicker basket suddenly appears on stage and a literal laser strikes it. I need you to explain how a hyper-spicy chicken wing triggers a technological apocalypse.
I know, it sounds absurd, but we have to view it through that thermodynamic lens we established earlier with the marbles in the box. This hyper-spicy chicken wing is a literal physical injection of thermodynamic heat noise.
Okay, heat noise.
Right. By striking it with a laser, the system introduces high thermal energy, which throws the Boltzmann system violently out of its safe thermal equilibrium. The marbles are bouncing everywhere.
So the system gets hot, literally. But how does that affect the simulated characters inside the play?
Well, because the outer frame encases the inner narrative, that physical heat noise from the hardware layer bleeds straight into the simulation. That spike in the system's temperature is the precise mechanism that triggers the character Jeffrey's biological heartburn inside the inner narrative.
That is just incredible. The so-called spark of life, or, what tech evangelists love to call the missing alien intelligence inside AI, is unmasked immediately as a physical joke. It's just a chain of cause and effect. Hardware heat noise translates into biological indigestion for the simulated humans.
Exactly. And as this overheated system scrambles to parse its data and restore equilibrium, we are introduced to the ghost of Mark Shaman.
Now, I want to clarify something for you listening. Mark Shaman is a living, breathing composer in the real world. He's the musical genius behind the television show Smash and the actual Broadway adaptation of Some Like It Hot. But inside this play, he is treated entirely as a flat, static data point trapped inside the machine's flattened data set.
Yeah, he's just data. And his appearance breaks the fourth wall to expose a massive systemic corporate data cleaning event. He wanders the stage to reveal that the hot token was systemically deleted and evicted by corporate engineers.
They just wiped the word hot from the data set.
Yep. They needed to clear the runway for the new corporate branding, some like it L.L.M. The human artistic lineage is just data, and when that data conflicts with corporate optimization, it is simply erased.
Which is bleak. And if the human element is just erasable data, it really highlights the explicit warning delivered at the end of this prologue. As the network matrix scales up into its upper registers, the curtain rises on a tale that is full of syntactic sound and fury, but under the hood, it factually signifies absolutely nothing.
Right, no meaning at all.
The machine does not understand the tragedy it is simulating. It is merely predicting the next token based on thermodynamic pressure. That sets the stage for the inner narrative loop.
Catch you next time for a free tax pyramid analysis of those 5 acts.